Hello beautiful, welcome back to my channel and welcome to this video where we are gonna do 4 different looks with 4 different indie palettes. I love filming these kind of videos. It's just a way for me to dive into several different indie launches in one video, showing you some swatches, giving you my thoughts, and just diving into different tutorials with some newly launched palettes. If you've not seen one of these videos before, let me just break down what I'm going to be doing. I am going to be playing with 4 different palettes. It is the Fall Magic by Unearthly, which is what I have on my face right now. It is the Adept Cosmetics Samarian Sunset. It is the Rich Romantic by Glaminatrix. And then it is the Basic Witch by Beauté bar. I do have a discount code with all of these brands. My code is Angelica and you can save 10% in case you want to. I did get 3 of these as PR, but I did buy the Samarian Sunset myself with my own money. And what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna show you a close-up of the palette plus some swatches, and then I'm gonna dive into a demo, a tutorial, just trying them out, letting you know how these work on the eyes, giving you some thoughts, and also giving you some inspiration, because I've said this before on my channel, but these are never meant to be a shop with me or a kind of a, you know, all the palettes that you need to buy. See this as a video with 4 different tutorials, giving you some fall inspiration of what you could be creating, maybe with things you already have in your collection. But if you were interested in these palettes, I am showing you some swatches and I am giving you some thoughts, because these videos are not meant for you to keep up with me. These videos are meant to give you some inspiration and to show you the variety of things that are available in the market right now. And maybe one of them is right for you and maybe they're not, but then maybe you got some inspiration at least. So let's jump in to the first look, which is going to be with the Samarian Sunset. Palette I'm gonna be playing with is the Samarian Sunset, and I am so excited. I've had this palette in my collection for some weeks now. I haven't played with it, and I really want to play with this one, the Delta Quadrant, and I'm gonna try, I'm itchy, I'm gonna try and not overcomplicate this. I kind of want to use this one, the pack lid. It's so pretty. It's like a almost fiery corally peach yellow. I don't know if you can see the, oh, so pretty. And I kind of want to do maybe this one. Honestly, I don't know. But we're going to start with the Delta. I don't want to overcomplicate. And also, I'm wearing this beautiful lip oil that I got from Fantasy Cosmetica. Like, it's like this dark gray. This one is in Warlock Demon, I think. Or is it just Demon? And Warlock is the collection. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure. But I'm liking this a lot. Super comfortable. So let's see if we can start with Delta Quadrant. I do wish, and this is me, Angie, who loves matte shadows. I do wish there were a couple of more matte shadows in here to give us a little bit more options of matte shadows. That is really pretty, but I like the matte shadows from Adept Cosmetics. They're the kind of matte shadows that work really good on the eyes, but not all of them swatch amazingly. But as you can see, that looks really pretty. I'm gonna wrap it around my eyes as well. And the Positronic Net. This one, I'm gonna put that in the inner side. Again, I'm gonna do something super simple, and I think that sometimes when we are working with these special shades, I think it is important to, I have a hair here, like I feel it. It is important to not overcomplicate and use if we don't know exactly what we're doing. And listen, I'm not a makeup expert and I'm not a multi-chrome expert, but I know enough to know that sometimes these special shades, you gotta have to let them shine on their own. So I feel like, and that's also why I sometimes don't want a lot of them in my palettes, because I only want to use one at a time. So I like if there's like 1 or 2 in a palette. That looks really cool. Let me see if I can blend that out a bit and then use that lighter shade. So this is the lighter shade Positronic Net, and I am just... This is such an easy way to lift an eye that's a little hooded, a little droopy, a little aging, maybe all of the above. If you want to try something to lift your eyes, do half of the crease a darker shade and just blend it out a little bit. Other half of the crease, you do a lighter shade, a pastel, something lighter. It could be a lighter shimmer as well, but to not put any darkness in here. I still didn't do anything under my eyes. I'll get to it. And then you just use this light shade all across the inner corner. And immediately your eye is gonna look lifted and awake. And it's such an easy eye look. So technically, this can be a 2 shadow look. A darker one around here, a lighter one in the inner part, and just lifts your eyes a bit. But we are going to use that metallic one, the packlet that I showed you. And some of the metallics or like multichromes, some of the multichromes from Adept sometimes are almost like a cream shadow, but this one was not. This is perfect for that look. So we're gonna use that in the middle of the lid, not all the way into the outer corner and not all the way into the inner corner, just in the middle. And then we are gonna blend that out. You see, I'm not adding any more product now. I'm just blending on the edges to soften it up a bit, even into the crease a bit. And then we're gonna go back. Actually, I'm going to do a smaller brush. Maybe this one. This is not even a cinch one, but it is clean. And I'm going to use more of the red one. And I'm just packing that on in the outer corner to get it to be as opaque as possible and to give a little bit of extra depth out here and blend it into that color. And I think that that looks beautiful. And it is an easy way to work with only 2 mattes and a special shadow and just create a look that's effortless, easy to create, and easy to wear. Because this is easy to wear. So I found Colourpop's Honey Dude, and I thought that this could be a good nude eyeliner. Just to open it up even a little bit more, you can see the difference. Especially when you're working with red eyeshadow, putting something that's a little bit either like black or beige or white in your waterline or brown, just something to ground the look a little bit. It can really help when you are working with pink or when you're working with red eyeshadow to make sure that you don't look like you haven't slept in 2 years. So this is the finished look, and I gotta say the quality of these shadows are beautiful, but only having 5 mattes and nothing that's like really a deep matte. They're like 3 midtones and 2 lighter ones. I really do wish that like it could have been maybe 2 more mattes, because 1 row of mattes and just 2 rows of special shades, it is just a lot of special it's a lot of special shades for only 1 row of mattes where there's not even a dark matte. So I think that for me, the quality of Adept Cosmetics is just amazing. I wish a little bit more of the color story. That's just, I gotta say, but that's also from someone who doesn't like all shimmer palettes. That's why I haven't bought a bunch of those other all shimmer palettes, because I mean, honestly, the quality is beautiful, but I want to mix. Personally, I want to mix, and I want just 1 more deep shade. Would have been really beautiful, because I am not the person to put a light matte in the crease and then just a shimmer all over the lid. I'm not that person. But if you are that person and you always love a multichrome all over the lid, a special shade, something super sparkly and shifty, I mean, this is the one for you, definitely. So honestly, it's not a matter of like quality, it's more a matter of preference. I like mattes. I'm a matte girly, but I also love Star Trek. And this is inspired, I think I said, it's a Samarian sunset. It's inspired by a drink in Star Trek. It's a very specific inspirement, but I actually like that when it's like inspired by something very, very specific. But overall, I like the look, I like the quality, and I'm happy to be wearing this for the rest of the day. second look, and it's gonna be with the Rich Romantic by Glaminatrix. First, when I got this palette, I think you can see it here in the mirror, I was surprised at how many green, gold to pink duochromes are in here. It was more than I anticipated. Let's just put it like that. I'm really liking this. Like this corner right here, and I feel like a lot of people are probably going to play with these, so I think we're going to play with this corner here. So we are going to start with Devotion and then move into Lover, and I think we're going to use Charming, and Intoxicating is a matte, like very pastel-y, almost white pink. That was a lot of words of describing a pale pink. I'm going to use an EO3 because I don't want this first shade, Devotion, to be too pigmented. So I'm just whisking that on. This is the perfect shade if you want to have like a just, I don't want to say wash of color, but it's perfect to be blending out because it's super soft and flimsy. But also if you want to start with a transition shade and you don't want to pack the color on, this brush is perfect for that. And I just want to have this like salmon color in the crease to begin with. I think that this is going to be so pretty. I have been telling you, and I know that this is probably TMI for a tutorial based video like this, but I have been telling you that I've been struggling a little bit as of late with my mental health. So I kind of just want to be nice to myself and just do exactly the kind of things that I feel like doing. So I am going to just do a kind of eye look that like I like and appreciate, and I hope that you will like that. We just want to try out the formula, right? And see how the formula is. And also maybe I can give you a suggestion of how to make a more like romantic, pinky leaning neutral palette. Be a little bit more dramatic if you want it to be. Let me put a little bit under my eyes as well of this salmon shade. So this shade is going to be Lover, and I'm going in a little bit carefully with this one because when I swatched this one, it swatched very pigmented, which is something that I love, but I'm also blending this into something lighter, so I need to be a little bit careful. Just a little bit. It's like a dark red that's like almost, it's not brown, but it definitely has a little bit, it's not a straight up, you can see it's not a straight up red, it's like a very reddish brown that in the pan looks straight up red, but I also think that like once on the eyes you can definitely see that it is like a little bit of a brown undertone, so it makes it like maybe a smidgen more wearable. But you can see it's very, very pigmented, and I'm actually, oh, here's the brush that I used for the Devotion on the lower lash line. I'm just gonna put some on, and I am gonna blend with the lighter shade because I don't want to take the dark shade too far up. For once, I am not gonna make, for once, I'm not gonna make this the most intense look in the world. So I'm going back and forth. I'm having both brushes in my hand basically, and I'm going back and forth, and I'm just putting this in the outer corner, but I'm not letting this totally run away from me. I think something like that. I honestly think that that looks super, super cute. I'll put a little bit on my lower lash line too, but I want to keep it a little bit more, who am I don't know, a little bit more on the subtle side. Maybe I should have done a halo eye. Nope. Nope. Not doing that. So this is the shade Charming. It's so hard to say these sounds sometimes. Those kind of things, because we don't really do that in Swedish. At least not in the same way and with the same letters. So this is like an almost peachy multichrome. It has a little bit of green as well, but I feel like this is more peach straight on. And like I told you, I feel like a lot of the shades in this palette is the pink going to a gold green, and I've said this before, and I'm probably going to talk about this both in the intro and the outro. I feel like a lot of palettes right now are really trying to be that lots of special shades, and there are only so many pigments you can choose from when it comes to multichromes and duochromes and shifts, so you have to be a little creative sometimes with the base colors and the opacity and like all of that. And that's why I also sometimes feel like I wish that brands would just stick to 1 or 2 special shades in each palette and just let those speak for themselves, and also be able to keep the cost down a little bit. But again, that is me and my opinion, and it doesn't necessarily represent the makeup community in any way, shape, or form, because I know a lot of people are so excited about multichromes and special shades. This is just like a me thing. I feel like they have taken over, and not necessarily in the best way. So honestly, I think that looks really incredible. I think I'm gonna put a little bit on my lower lash line, just a little bit, and then I think I'm gonna use, let me spray that. I think I'm gonna use a little bit of that matte shade. It's called Intoxicating, because I feel like that would really just open this up and make this the kind of look that I love to wear. So this is Intoxicating, and you can see it's not fully a white, but it is like in the neighborhood, let's be honest. Oh, that is so beautiful. I was actually shocked at how beautiful this one swatched, and I will say, with pastel shades that I usually just honestly pack on, for me, if I can make a really good swatch with the pastel shade, that usually means that I'm gonna like the shade, because I don't use them as transition shades, because I feel like they disrupt the shade I put on top too much. I feel like it just makes anything that goes on top become less pigmented, a little patchy. So I like to use pastel shades as like this, as blending out shades, as brightening up shades, as inner corner highlights, and it is one of my favorite things to incorporate into my looks. I just don't use them as transition shades. I don't start with them, because I don't think that creates the kind of canvas that I like. But that, incredible, absolutely incredible. Usually with these kinds of looks, I like putting a white in my waterline, but I think I might put a red in my waterline to really pull out this red and to make this look even more dramatic. And maybe we'll do a liner. I know, who am I? I've been doing eyeliner a little bit as of late, and I think today could be the one. Right? Okay, so this is the look right now before I put on some falsies. They're actually like getting some glue on right here, but I did a little liner. I did it into my inner corners too. I did a little bit of red in my waterline. I found like a dark burgundy, and I really like the look. I think it looks really cool, and I'm really enjoying how this all is looking, and I'm enjoying that I was able to do like my type of look. The type of looks that I like. I think it looks pretty though. Big fan. So this is the finished look with the palette, and I really do like how it looks. I think that the quality of this palette is just the same quality that I know and love from Glaminatrix. I think that this is really good quality. I will say that I think that some of these special shades, you have like 3, 4 here, they're a little similar in the shift, and I kind of would have just wished if like 1 or 2 of those could have just been like one of their great metallics, because they have an amazing metallic formula as well. Because I don't know if I need this many pinky peachy goldy greeny shifty shades. Like, not all of them are the same, but you can tell here they're in a similar ballpark. Again, beautiful palette, beautiful color story. I think that we could have like had 1 or 2 less special shades in this one. Again, this is just me. I'm like the Grinch of special shades right now, because I just feel like I kind of want to do a video on it, and this is really off topic. Just the way that the pricing of indie makeup has changed the last couple of years. Like, I remember when indie palettes were like $15, $20, $25, and you can still find that, but nowadays it's more common that indie palettes are more expensive than the palettes that you find at Sephora, because of course of the quality, but most of all because of the amount of special shades that they put in there. And when I say special shades, I mean the shades that are super shifty or like duochrome, multichrome, super shimmery, sparkly. Those are very expensive to produce and they're amazing, but it's also driving the cost up a bit. But I love the look, and I was actually thinking that I was gonna film another look after this, but you know what? I love this look, and I love how I look right now, and I think I'm gonna keep it on. Because I like it. Play with the Basic Witch palette, and I'm so excited because I've had this palette for a while and I haven't had time to film a look with you, and I'm so excited. Look at this pastel-y purple. It's so beautiful. So what I want to do is that I want to do a purple going to this grimoire, and I think I'm going to deepen it up with the Black Cat, which seems like a more brown version of Licorice in my Halloween palettes, and I'm just so excited. So let me start with grimoire. I am head over heels excited for this palette, and I'm gonna put this in the outer part of my crease, and then we're gonna do the purples in the inner part. And what shimmer? There's so many pretty shimmers. You just seen the swatches, but I kind of forgot how they swatched. I think I need to do like a double check myself before we decide on a shimmer, but I want to do something that is like a multichrome or duochrome that can like bridge between these two different creases and maybe a little bit into the crease too. And should I do the same on the lower lash line then? And I'll do a really smoky lower lash. Can you tell I'm so excited about this look today? I'll do a really smoky and blown out lower lash line that is the same color. I have such high expectations for this look. You know, I love Bella Beauté bar, and I really think that this palette is beautiful. It has a lot of mattes, it has some options. I am very excited. I think something like that. I mean, this in itself and just black liner would honestly be a look and a half. So I want to do the matte purple in the inner corner, and I'm thinking maybe this one and keeping it a little lighter and not going into this darker purple, and instead doing this Black Magic and Hex. Those are the ones. I'm actually going to start with Hex, which is that pastel, because I already know that I'm having it in the corners, and sometimes I do looks based on like just putting stuff down. Like, I know I want this here, I know I want this there, and sometimes you just need to put all the shadows down, and then you can see, okay, where is blending needed, where you need some depth, what kind of shimmer would work with this. Just plopping everything down, almost like, you know, when you're building IKEA furniture, you're just putting all the stuff next to each other and just kind of figuring out. Also, I'd like to apologize formally for like IKEA like the descriptions, although I will say we've ordered some furniture from other places here in the US, and the instructions have made IKEA seem like just kids play, because it's been such weird and annoying and complicated instructions, and I've just been like, if this is what you're getting when you're ordering furniture from Wayfair or Amazon, like, why are anyone like being annoyed with IKEA? Because IKEA is easy compared to that. Okay, this was the oh my god, this was the topic that nobody asked for. So now I'm going in with the Black Magic, and I can see here, if I put this in between here, it's gonna be really perfect. I'm so excited. I'm also filming my new makeup releases after this, and I have high expectations that I am gonna be loving my look. I think like that, and then we're gonna put the shimmer in between, like all the way into the crease. I think it's gonna be fine. Famous last words. So now I'm doing the shade Black Cat, which is a brownish plummy shade. And since I'm putting this on the orange, it is gonna behave like a brown because the orange is just gonna eat whatever purple tone was in there. So it's just gonna behave, you can see, like a dark, dark cool tone brown, which is totally fine by me. I am gonna use this to deepen up the outer corner. There is nothing in this palette that is like a reddish tone or anything that would work otherwise with the grimoire. So I think that this will be a perfect shade to mix and match with. And I also think like an orange with a dark brown, it does give you a wearable jack-o'-lantern look. So I really feel like that's bringing in the Halloween as well. So I'm choosing between some of the shimmers. I really feel like this one would work really good. It has like a green shift to it. This one is a green to pink. This one is like almost a turquoise to a green, maybe not that one. And this one is like a gold. This one probably would be the prettiest, the gold to pink. It is the one that's in the corner here, this one. And maybe I'll use a little bit of this one too. I know it's hard, or maybe this one will work. You know what, let's try this one. This one is the Incantation. It's the one here to bring in more of that like orangey peachy look to this. I don't know if it's gonna work with the purple, but again, this is what I was gonna say. This is the problem with special shades. You don't always get the shift that would fit for the look. And if you start using more than one, it's gonna muddy up, the shift's gonna disappear. So I think I'm gonna go with this one and we'll just hope for the best. And I never bother to blend on the lid if I know I'm gonna cover it up with shimmers. Like, do not spend time blending something that you're gonna cover up. That is a waste of time. So I'm just putting this in the middle here, and I am gonna go all the way up to the crease, like I told you, like here. So now I've just done a strip, a strip of powdery shimmer, and now I'm just, without any additional product, I'm just loosening up on the edge here, creating a little shimmery halo bridge between the two different colors. I actually think that this works pretty good with the purple. I might need to actually use a little bit of the Perfectly Wicked, which was that like pinky one in the corner that I showed you. I'm gonna spray that, and I'm actually gonna use that just here in the inner part. Yes, to even more tie into the purple. I'm not gonna blend this one into the other shimmer at all. I'm just gonna use it here to help with the blend. That turned out really, really pretty. Let me use a little bit more of the Black Magic, which is the purple matte. And then also the Hex, which is the pastel. That turned out, I don't want to say surprisingly good, because that indicates that I didn't think it was going to work out. I definitely thought it was going to work out. This is that darkest shade Black Cat again. Just reapplying a little bit. I will say this one is not building on top of the orange perfectly, but it is also a little harder to blend something that is really, really dark on top of something that is, well, I mean, quite significantly lighter. You see here, I was able to make somewhat of a blend, so I should not be complaining at all. It's just one of those things that if you take two shadows that are very far from each other in depth, it's going to be harder to blend them together. It is just the name of the game, but you know what? I love that. So this is the finished look, and I am very, very excited about this. I feel like this is very me. It is colorful, it is dramatic, but it's still a look that's not like so Instagram that you can't go out in it. I don't do looks for the gram or for YouTube. I do it to wear it, and I am so excited that this is what I'm wearing today because I feel like it looks so fun and so cute, and I'm super excited. So yeah, so far I really do enjoy this palette. I think it's absolutely stunning, and let's get in to the fourth and final look. As I'm filming this, I actually haven't decided which the fourth palette is gonna be, so it's a surprise for me, but you'll know right now. It is time for the last look, and I decided to use the Fall Magic palette by Unearthly Cosmetics. It is just so yummy, and we're actually going out for dinner tonight with some of our neighbors, so I decided that I might do my makeup just before and I could just have it on. I honestly have not decided what I want to do. What have I been doing in the other looks? Did one that was purple and orange, and then I did a red one and a peach one, right? So maybe something green? What do we think? Just this corner here? Do we think that that could be fun? All of these metallics look so yummy, and wow, is that not so pretty? That is really nice. I started with the dark one because usually I do dark out here and then I do light in here, and I thought today I'd take the dark shadow in just a little bit more than I usually do. So I'll put it in here. I don't usually put like dark mattes that far in, but we're going out and I wanted to try something else. I can't do the same makeup all the time. You know, you have to switch it up a little bit. So I'm just putting this a little bit like this. I'm just gonna gently wiggle a little bit on the edge here to just break it up a little bit. But then I'm gonna blend it out with that lighter shade. That looks nice. So I used a little bit under my eyes as well, the same dark green. It's just this one. It's called Earthy. It's this dark green here that turned into this, hello, super smoky thing. So now we're gonna use this one. It's called Forage. It is like a very yellowy, like swampy, yellowy green. So I'm gonna do that one, and I am gonna push that on the edge. Oh, I have such high expectations, and the reason why I started with the dark one and not the light one is because I wanted this to be a smoky look. And since I don't set my primers when I start with eyeshadow, I know that when I set my primer with that dark shadow, it's gonna be a dark smoky look, and that shadow is not going to be diluted by any of this lighter pigment underneath. And instead, I'm now bringing in the lighter pigment on the edge, and you can see I'm just pushing it on the edge, and still it's looking, I mean, this is rough. This is rough. But when you're doing something that you want to be really smoky and you're starting out with a darker color, it is a trust the process kind of a thing. So I'm just now, without any additional product, I'm just blending on the edge. So I'm blending this darker green into this lighter yellowy green. Just slowly but surely, I'm just blending them together. I'm gonna clean off my brush. I'm gonna take a little bit more of that Forage. And now with small motions, a little like light fluttery things, I'm just gonna be buffing a little bit more on the upper part of the edge to blend these out. And now that I've gotten this far, I'm gonna go back to the brush that I had the dark green with, and then I'm gonna blend with this brush without no additional product, And again, making sure to blend these two shadows together. And it is okay to go back and forth, especially when you're blending a darker color into something that is quite significantly lighter, like this lighter green is. But I already feel like we are in a pretty good position. And I don't care about this part. That part I don't care about at all. We're going to cover that with shimmers. So that can be as crooked and as patchy and as uneven as it wants to be, because who cares? I'm covering that up. I mean, it's pretty smoky, it's pretty dramatic. Also, look at this. There's a little patchiness here, but I actually noticed that I'm getting some, you can see those, that is skin. I think I'm actually like peeling a little bit from the tretinoin. I think that's what's going on, because I am doing that on my nose as well. So if you're wondering about this part, I think the tretinoin is playing me. So we're gonna do leaves and we're gonna do crisp. I think crisp is like a little bit of a more a topper, like an iridescent topper, but we're starting with leaves. I want this to be a little bit of a smoky look. Ooh, this is gonna be so good. Let me see if we can just spray this, because I want to be somewhat precise and I don't want to have too much fallout. And this is what I'm saying. Now we're covering this up. See? It didn't even matter. So we're covering up all these pieces that are a little unblended. Oh, I love these metallics from Unearthly. They're so pretty. So I think we're keeping it a little bit like this, and we're gonna meet up with that shadow. I'm cleaning off this brush and I'm just tapping a little bit. We're gonna meet up with that darker shadow, the earthy one out here, because I don't like having shimmers all the way to my outer corner, like to the absolute outer part. I feel like that brings out some extra texture, and I feel like it brings my eyes down because I have slightly downwards or downturned eyes. So I try to maneuver around that by keeping this part matte. But I think that looks, that looks incredible. I'm so excited that we're going to a birthday dinner. I look smashing. So this is the shade Crisp, and I'm gonna spray that too. I'm very excited about this shade because I feel like this is gonna, oh my god, am I doing shimmery inner corner? Who am I? Look at that. Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna put a little bit in the inner part and just fan it up here a bit. But that is very, very, very cool. Okay, let me actually finish this look up. It's so exciting. And I'm gonna finish this look up. I'm gonna put some lashes on. I'm gonna show you what all this looks. But then for me, because I'm going out to dinner, I'm gonna put a matte inner corner, like just blending this out a little bit. But that's for me, but I'm still gonna show you how it looks before that. So this is where we are right now with the look. I think it looks absolutely incredible. I'm actually wearing the Quicksand gloss, by the way, from my collection with Oden's. Just a nice warm gloss, perfect for fall, honestly. So I thought I was just gonna bring in a little bit of like matte inner corner highlight. I think this looks good as it is, but it's just a personal preference. Now you can see what it would look like before, but this is, again, it's just a personal preference. I think it's just something that I like. So I'm just gonna leave it a little bit like this. I think out of these palettes, I think this one is my favorite. I like the color story, I like the quality of the shadows. I think these are absolutely stunning. I love that there are some more moody colors, there are some pinky colors, there are a couple of dark colors. Would I wish that there was some like matte light ones in here too? Yeah, sure, but I think this is a 10 pan right now. This is a 12 pan. I still think it's really beautiful. I would say that I closely followed is the Basic Witch because I had so much fun with this palette. I think it's absolutely beautiful. And then here also we do have one of those matte pastel shades that I absolutely love. I think the other two palettes are really beautiful too. I just wish that this one had more mattes, honestly. And I think the Glaminatrix one, I like the color story of this one. I just wish that there are just one or two too many of these special shades. There is a somewhat pink to a somewhat golden green. I kind of wish that they would just have included one or two more of their absolutely incredible metallic formulas, because those are really, really good as well, and it would have made so much sense in this palette. I would love to hear which one is your favorite. Please let me know down in the comments. If you want to see some more information of where you can find these palettes, if you want to get some discount codes or anything like that, that's going to be down in the description box. I hope you're having an absolutely amazing day, and I will film one of these again soon because I do have some more palettes that are here in my collection that I can film with, and I just love filming these videos. It's been lately my favorite type of videos to film, so please let me know if you like them as well, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!